What's going on, everybody? Oh, snap. It's not a Wednesday. Oh, snap. You know what it is? It's the first Sunday. This is First Sunday Wrestling. What's going on?
Man.
I am your boy, Jazz, Superjaz.
Superjaz.
As nature intended. Jazz, Superjaz, SJJT, whatever you want, what have you in the like. And as always, I am joined by my friend, the other host of the show.
Oh, y'all know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Ellis, feogrande on YouTube, occasionally referred to as Pete on this channel. And yeah, I'm doing good too.
All right. And like I said, this is First Sunday Wrestling that we do on the same channel as Whatever We Want podcast, which is featured 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern every Wednesday. This, of course, is just featured every first Sunday of the month. And we, as I always say on Whatever We Want podcast, we can't not talk about wrestling. So we came up with a whole podcast where we just talk about wrestling. Give our thoughts, feelings, what have you of the goings on in the previous month, every month going forward. So,
yeah,
because I mean, we got the notes. We're about to get into it. I'll put it like this. First thing we could talk about. We can get out the damn way because we spent some of, and not saying anything bad or fucked up, but we spent some of the last episode, and I think some of the one before that, talking about a certain CEO and his misgivings. I'm saying this shit.
Well, he was forced to retire now.
I was dancing
unless
around
you
it.
guys are gonna citizen arrest him or walk up and shoot him in the face, at least some form of justice has been served.
The thing that I think is just crazy is because we both even said, we were both like, you know, basically last month and then the month before that, the whole thing about Vince was, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? And everybody was like, we'll see. We'll see when that actually happens. And then it was like, oh shit.
Yeah, he actually did. Well, damn. All right. I'll be. He's moving on. I'll be. He finally stepped down and moved on. There haven't been any real changes in WWE since. I know everyone was happy that Triple H was coming in to replace him and everything, but with the exception of signing some of the people they fired, from what I hear, it's like, oh, cool. Insert superstar from NXT is back, but Raw is still the same show it's always been. So I'm like, well, I'm still not missing nothing.
Well, okay. So to be fair, have not watched. So to give y'all watching just a little bit about us and our goings on in the current watching of wrestling, we keep up with the entire wrestling world, but we do watch AEW a little bit more on the regular. So definitely I can speak for myself, but I know both of us. So I have not watched SummerSlam yet, but of course I know some of what happened, as well as the Raw after I meant to watch, but I didn't see that either. That's actually saved in my DVR to look at. So I can't be like, well, the whole episode was this or the whole episode was that. You know, shout out to having to work for a living, right? But anyway, so my whole thing with the shit is, first off, hell fucking froze over because nobody thought this would happen. Now, did it need to happen? Is a whole different story. But nobody thought that Vince was going to leave the company.
No, I thought he would die in the ring, but
I was about to say, everybody said they thought that Vince was going to leave the company, and I don't mean this in a messed up way, but everybody thought Vince was going to leave the company by, like you said, dying in that motherfucker. And now we see, oh shit, he was like, and without going too far down that road, it it looks less and less. It's harder to. I'm trying to pick my words right. It's harder to deny some shit when you hop out of it the way he did. Put it that way. That's like the nicest way I can say it around.
I've already said what I said earlier.
Yeah. And I do think it's kind of crazy too when you have somebody like Triple H and Stephanie leave, then this happens and they come right the fuck back. That is kind of crazy. Like, oh shit. So it behind the scenes at WWE, who the fuck knows what is going on? Like shout out to Chris Van Vliet. I don't know if you know what that is, Chris Van Vliet.
No.
Okay, well, Chris Van Vliet, he interviews a lot of wrestling personalities. Really, really cool dude. He has his channel, Chris Van Vliet. But shout out to him. He was doing like a wrestling roundtable thing, and he said like one thing that would be crazy is just to be a fly on the wall in WWE right now would be interesting because who knows what the fuck is happening behind the scenes with that shit. Who knows, man. Would Triple H be the savior of WWE that everybody is saying?
Apparently not.
I don't know. I will say, whatever he is or isn't gonna do, it's gonna take more than a few weeks to a month for us to really see the implications of if he actually has made some changes. Because like you said, yeah, okay. Io Shirai finally got brought up, which should have been fucking happened. Now she's Io Sky, apparently.
Yeah, so, yeah, we got the NXT call-up of people who should have been called up a while ago, but we still have the stupid name changes.
Right. But then also we get Dakota Kai, and then we get Karrion Kross. Your boy Karrion Kross came back yesterday. So we get two people who got released stupidly get to come back.
Three people. Because apparently he's back with Scarlett.
Oh, yeah, with Scarlett. Right. The husband-wife duo. Right. We get them back. So that definitely, because like Dakota Kai and him got released stupidly, and Karrion Kross infamously was like mishandled on main roster. I mean, the fucking like mask, the helmet thing.
The helmet thing, the taking away of Scarlett, which neutered his entrance so much.
Yes,
because that
everybody loved.
Well, it just helped. Not even just hot chick, boo, 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 boo. You gotta have that. No, not even just that. It's more just the whole setup of the fact that there's a herald at all. Like that's here, just the end is here. Like it just helped with the presentation of oh shit, you're fucked up. This motherfucker's got someone's calling. She's doing the whole fall and pray shit, and he just shows up roaring at you. That's terrifying, but as opposed to just, I'm gonna walk down to the ring on some not even as scary as, an Undertaker or some shit. I'm just some dude with the same song playing, but no reason for the song to be playing for real.
Yeah. And then they put him in that weird outfit. And I mean, I hate to like harp on the outfit like everybody else, but if you're being honest, the whole package, the outfit had a lot to do with his downfall. I'm not one of the people where I'm like, just an outfit, but if I think, no, it did. But no, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna take more than just a week to a month. And some people are like, I think jumping out the window a little too quickly, like, oh my God, did you hear Triple H came back? Ah, everything, ooh, oh, everybody, wow, we're all happy. And it's like, more power to Triple H.
To be fair, people liked NXT when Triple H was running it.
That's
so there was a sign that he could book well.
That's what I was just about to say. I was going to say, you cut me off. To be fair, we saw what he did with NXT, and he made stars that were bigger at NXT than they were when they got pulled to main roster. That was just under him. I mean, look at your Shinsuke Nakamura's and your Finn Balor's that were big deals in NXT that didn't really amount to too much when they came to main roster.
Your name redacted because they're on another show now and you can't talk about them.
Name redacted, baby.
I don't
Wait. Oh man, wouldn't it be crazy if that's where that came from? I'd be like, I would look at him Cole a little differently. Anyway, no. But what I'm saying is, will this ultimately mean something different, and WWE will be something that we can all deem a little more quote unquote watchable? Possibly, but all I'm saying is he just took it over. So if there is a so-called mess left that somebody has been making for the last decades, it's not going to get fixed in a month. So everybody jumping out the window like, you already see the difference? And it's like, wait a minute. We got to... Rome wasn't built in a day looking ass.
Like I said, aside from people showing back, apparently there's been no difference. Everybody at the top that Vince and Nick Khan, who is still in control of the company, everybody they wanted on top is still on the fucking top.
Nick Khan and Kevin Dunn were the two main people behind the scenes, besides Vince, obviously. I think Nick Khan was the one that started trying to save money. That
he was the one doing all the firings, and he's still in charge. So
yeah. So I mean, we'll definitely see what happens by the time the year is out. Because shout out to my big brother, but Ibn was saying, and he said a few times, and it's true. This has been a crazy year for wrestling. These last 2 years have been crazy years for wrestling. It's true, man. A lot of crazy shit's going on. So by the end of the year, we will very much see what the fuck is going to happen with this shit. Because like I said, whatever the reason, nobody thought Vince would end up leaving the company before. Like, we thought this man would be in a fucking, like, on a walker or like a wheelchair and still be coming out talking shit. And now he's gone, and his son-in-law and his daughter taking over. So that's crazy. I remember I was talking with some people at work, and they were like, "Where's Shane at? You know, how come Shane?" And from what I heard, I think Shane said he didn't want to be a part of it no more. I could be misquoting on that though.
Oh, so he got fired a while back too.
No, but I mean, I heard that like Shane didn't like want to be a part of it.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's what I heard. I don't know. That could be a huge misquote.
I'm gonna say I can't speak for Shane.
Did you see any of SummerSlam?
I've seen clips and stuff. I know Logan Paul can wrestle better than people thought. And again, you know, I know it's seen as like evil to even say the man is technically athletic, even though you can see with your eyes that he is. I get that you're supposed to hate the man and want him dead or whatever. Okay, whatever. You're allowed to hate Logan Paul. Me, I can also use my eyes and be like, damn, he's got some athleticism to him. And he does. From the clips and stuff I've seen from the Miz fight, he did good in that match. Doesn't make him a better person or anything, but he did good in that match. I saw the tractor thing.
I didn't see the match, but I saw that, and I was like, I've been meaning to watch that match, and I just been doing other shit, and it's slipping my mind. But I saw that shit, and it was like, oh, shit.
I mean... spoilers, you know, Roman wins anyway. Who really cares? It's like, oh, cool. He brought a tractor, flipped the ring over, and it still didn't matter. He still got squashed by Roman like everybody else. All right. Can we stop having Brock Lesnar fight Roman Reigns now?
According to Ibn, that was their best match, and it's actually worth watching. And he was telling me I need to check it out.
Even though it was Roman squashes opponent like usual?
Well, according to him,
Roman squashes Brock Lesnar like usual.
Like I said, according to him, he was like, you know, it's almost like, you know, the best you're gonna get with what you got, I guess. And he was saying that it's still like worth checking out, and it's still like out of their series of matches, which is few. I mean, not few, very, very, very many. But out of their series of matches, it's worth checking out. So I keep you to check it out.
Brock Lesnar. His resume speaks for itself. Yeah, that's a name. Brock fucking Lesnar. In wrestling and within, it's out. And if that motherfucker had to bring a tractor to try and finally beat you and still got bodied free, stop it with this feud. I don't need to see it anymore.
I agree.
Brock Lesnar doesn't look good. Constantly losing to Roman.
No, I 100% agree.
But I'm one of the few people in this world that still likes Brock Lesnar, because I know everybody hates Brock Lesnar because Vince loved Brock Lesnar and kept using him a lot, especially with this Roman Reigns feud. So it is what it is. They like the whole part-timing thing and all that stuff. I didn't mind the part-timing Brock Lesnar. I think it went on too long, but I think a lot of things go on too long because Mr. Roman Reigns having it on every week has still gone on too long because it's been like, what, 3 years? Almost 4? Man hasn't lost a match since 2019 when Baron Corbin, of all people, pinned him.
I had, my issue with Brock when he first started part-timing, because you remember when Brock first came back to WWE after he'd been going for a minute, everybody loved the idea. Because everybody was like, oh shit, Brock Lesnar is back. The problem was, because I loved it too. The problem was when he won the title and him and the title were gone for so long. So it was like, we can't even see the main title on TV. That's what my issue
I'll
was.
give you that. That's why I said the whole part-timing thing. But at the same time, I still understand the idea of that in the concept, because the idea was to make it more of a big moment when he shows up, because he's not on there that often. He's big time. You're gonna tune in when Brock's on because you don't know when the fuck he's gonna be on again. You know what I mean? And that's fine for his gimmick that he had for a while, but then it just became all the character was.
Right. It's
that's why
like
I said it went on too long.
It's like with AEW, one of the smartest things that Tony Khan did right now was he made the interim AEW champion, because I think if the main title is just off your show, and it's not Punk's fault, you know, like you get injured, you get injured. But if your main title's off your show for months at a time, it kind of takes away a little bit of the magic of watching the show when the main title is going.
It does, but that also
put it on Rock, and then they're both going. They were making at the time, because I was trying to watch on the regular when that was first happening. They were making the Intercontinental Championship feel like the main title and putting that bitch on Seth Rollins because the main title wasn't there. It was just like, so that's why that was when I started being like, come on, man, bring him and his title back.
They also put it on somebody else who's had it more times than Seth Rollins, including during like these years where Brock keeps holding the title hostage.
Right. I'm talking about the main title, like whoever. Like I can talk about my thoughts with Roman and Brock. You know.
No, I'm not talking about Roman. I was talking about this whole making the Intercontinental Championship seem like it was an important thing, and you just gave all the credit to Seth Rollins. And I'm like, there's a guy who held it. Cena never held the Intercontinental. I don't think.
Did he not?
No, I think Cena's in the same school as Taker.
I thought he did have it. Holy shit.
And Cena's held the United States.
I know that. Well, that one of the main titles he first won at was it WrestleMania 20.
Yeah.
His show with the US.
No, I'm talking about the guy everybody forgets has any kind of talent. The guy that lost to Logan Paul.
That's why I just
at SummerSlam.
Miz is to some people, people say that Miz is at least in like top 20 best Intercontinental champions of all time.
Motherfuckers at the very least in the top 3 of most reigns.
Yeah. Top 20, if not top 10.
He definitely had like a year or so during that whole Brock's holding the main title hostage and trying to carry Raw on the back of the Intercontinental Championship, where that was Miz doing it and not Seth Rollins. So that's all I was saying.
I just remember them putting it on Seth Rollins at the time and making it seem like it was like the main title because the main title wasn't there. That was the only thing that when I really started looking at being like, not so much Brock, but if it was anyone, you fucking gave the title to somebody and this person ain't here for months at a time. That's why I said, you know, getting injured is a whole different story, but it was smart of Tony to have an interim champion, so we can at least have the championship defended until the champion comes back.
That is nice, but you can also there's also always been something where you can have a championship be defended when the champion person gets injured, and that's called vacating the title.
True.
So that technically was an option that could have been there too.
That's facts too. I'm just saying.
I like the interim championship thing, just like you do.
I like it to a point here. I do.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was my issue with Brock back in the day. That's when I started kind of being like, okay. And then I think everybody started kind of feeling that way too, because when he first returned, everybody lost their shit, myself included. But I have no problem with motherfuckers being part-timers. The issue with Brock with this shit was when he started coming back, fighting Roman for a second, squashing motherfuckers who really could have used a win against anyone else, and then just leaving. Mm-hmm. A lot of times with the title.
Hey, at least he lost to Black Lesnar. We finally got that match that people have wanted for fucking ever. Bobby Lashley included.
I'm not addressing this anymore until you call that man by his name. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Which you say literally right after I said Bobby Lashley included.
I wanted to make the joke, but you took away my ability to make the joke.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody said online at one point, they were like, I saw online or some comments where they were like, Lesnar and Reigns is the new Orton Cena. And I was like, yep, definitely is. And then Ibn was like, yeah. The difference, though, was Orton and Cena a lot of times was at least kind of entertaining. And I was like, damn.
What I will get, okay. Because of the way he just phrased that, I gotta disagree. Roman and Brock, Roman and Brock also can be entertaining at the end of the day. We're tired of seeing it, but that does not mean. At the same time, I get why they're doing it, because through faults entirely of their own. Calm down. There aren't a lot of fucking big, strong, like terrifying people in WWE right now, through faults of their own with booking over the years. That said, I kind of subscribe to the Big E notion of watching matches where it's like, yes, 5-star matches, fantastic, technical masterpieces, oh my god, your Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage, your Bret the Hitman Hart versus insert somebody else that is really fucking good at the technical aspect. Obviously that's great, but sometimes I just want to see two big motherfuckers running at each other, and Brock and Roman do that. So even with me talking about Roman squashing him at SummerSlam, I can imagine that being some kind of entertainment value, because it's just a fucking finisher parade. Let's run at each other as hard as we can until one can't stand up anymore.
My issue that came with it, because at the end of the day, a lot of people finally come off of that shit, but a lot of people talking about Roman can't like wrestle or carry a match. That is not true. Roman Reigns can wrestle. Roman Reigns can carry a match. Brock Lesnar,
he's gotten a lot better.
We definitely know Brock Lesnar can wrestle and carry a match. Okay, so it's not that. It is like you just said, the finisher parade was the issue. It was like, we're going to do about 5 finishers to each other, kick out of everybody's finisher. Then ultimately, we know Roman's going to win because Roman is here consistently and Brock is on a part-time schedule. That was the problem when it got to these finishers don't mean nothing, and in the end, it's predictable. That was the issue.
I hear you, but we're gonna sit here and praise AEW. We can't criticize WWE about finishers not meaning nothing.
What AEW do with finishers don't mean anything.
They don't. They just don't. There are so many, because of the spot, and again, it's entertaining. I love it. I'm part of the problem with media in the world. I've said this on numerous times occasion. I get it. I'm the stupid guy that's like, Cool shit. Calm down. So yes, I like the flips and spot fest too, just from a pure spectacle thing. At the same time, that is something I've noticed in AEW. WWE is starting to do it as well. They used to save it just for the like big dudes who was like, oh well, it makes sense that Brock would kick out of one spear. It's Brock fucking Lesnar. But when you got random tag teams and they're just pulling out shit you ain't never seen before, some kind of ridiculous ass move that's really hard to pull off, just boom, high impact and everything, it's like, oh, that's a match ender. 1, 2, okay. All right, and you get like 4 or 5 things that should be match enders every match, and they just ain't. AEW, they, like the concept of a finisher is not that strong. Obviously, yes, you have your one winged angel and your Judas effect, which no one kicks out of, unless somebody else is doing it. Because Will Ospreay has been forcing people to kick out of one winged angels when he does it on people.
My rebuttal to what you said is, to some extent, FTR doing some, like, for example, and I'm not saying examples and they actually did this, I'm saying example as in hypothetically. FTR doing some big crazy tag team move that's like, oh shit, that's a match ender, is different between FTR doing Shatter Machine. There's a difference between.
I said tag team just to be like, oh, right. All right, sorry. I'm not trying to insult FTR or the tag team decision. I'm not trying to insult the tag team division specifically. I'm saying I was just trying to do it in the terms of like tiers. I'm having a conversation with you, brother. I'm just doing it in the terms of like tiers and shit. Like let's say if anybody, FTR is not a John Moxley, Chris Jericho. Tag teams are not the single stars that hold the main company title. I'm talking about like a tier of performance. Like on the bottom card, if you hit somebody with something that's devastating, or better yet, you want to kick out of everything and act like no moves hurt whatsoever. Do it at the fucking pay-per-view when something's like on the line. Like if you just on a random, it's the second match of a night on a Wednesday and we're still kicking out of fucking match-ending moves. And God, now it sounded like I hate AEW. No, AEW is better than WWE, people. Calm the fuck down. AEW is better than WWE. Leaps and bounds. You happy? Shut up. Not you, but the people watching. So I'm not down AEW. I'm just pointing out a flaw I thought they had. I was wrong. I stand corrected.
You're making a point, and then I'm giving a counterpoint. We're having a conversation.
I stand corrected. That's all. You're right. I got too wrapped up in it.
You're allowed to have an opinion that dissents from mine, if that's the case.
No, that's not what I was saying. I was just, you made some good points.
Oh, okay.
That's some good points. The Shatter Machine is better than you're right.
What I was getting at is basically John Moxley doing some big wild shit, the match is over is different than him doing paradigm shit. That's what I'm saying. Or like Dante Martin jumping off the turnbuckle doing some crazy aerial shit is different than him doing his like.
What is his finisher?
I was gonna say his double springboard moonsault. That's what I think it is. You know, where he jumps from this rope to this rope and then hits it. I think that's his finisher.
I was say I have no idea what that guy's finisher is, but he also kicks out. He like, yeah. I guess that's the other thing. It's like, what is these people's finishers? Because they just.
I was just gonna say that. I think one thing AEW doesn't do enough of is they don't tell you the finishers of everybody concretely. They don't do it as much as they should. So then when you have MJF for that matter, whenever he comes back, when you have MJF doing Salt of the Earth, I don't know what that looks like. I know this is his finisher, apparently.
Oh, is it? Because I was just about to tell you. I was like, actually, now that you mentioned it, the fuck is his finisher? Put on the diamond ring and punch somebody? Is it William Regal's power of the punch?
That. Right. Maybe it's that. But that's what I mean. Like, they don't. I think that's one thing that AEW should do a little bit, and not to shit on them because I'm not, because I love AEW. But I think that they should do a little bit more of. oh, he just did blah, blah, blah. Because if you tell us, like we found out with any wrestling company, if you tell us these people's moves on like a weekly basis, or at least like a month, every time we appearance basis, whatever, then you make it a big deal. We'll learn what they are. So when the Fire Thunder Driver happens, which I believe is Thunder Rosa's finisher, but I'm not sure. But when that happens, the crowd will be like, "Oh shit!" Because right now, the only finishers that I can think of, and this is off the top of my head, so I'm obviously missing some. But what you got? The series of power bombs from Wardlow. You've got the go to sleep. You've got you got the orange punch. See, I'm trying to even like fucking think of what these moves are. You got the one winged angel when he comes back. You've got the Judas effect.
Melts a driver.
The I forget what her fucking lockjaw, but like with Brick Baker. But it's just like
Meltzer driver, buckshot.
Meltzer driver, buckshot lariat, definitely. Shatter machine. Although I think some people don't know Shatter Machine is their finisher. So
I don't know what Adam Cole's finisher is in AEW because he never wins. Oh,
it's so crazy to me. Like, it's so crazy to me how many, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. And I love all the people that get cheered, like, and I
you
cheer.
You don't get
like,
Adam Cole.
No, I wasn't gonna say I don't get Adam Cole. I get Adam Cole. You don't get Adam Cole. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I get all of it. But I don't get how him and a lot of people at AEW, how the heels get some of the biggest cheer. The heels got some of the biggest call and response and cheers. DMD, Adam Cole, baby. Let's sing Judas. Like, this is the crazy. They finally turned them face because of that. Like,
I don't even know if they're still fully. I still don't know if they face.
Their face.
Just because he made fun of Vince McMahon last week, don't make him a face.
They were face before that.
They'd say controversial shit all the time. That's their whole point.
I'm saying they were face before the Vince McMahon comment, which was crazy. Because beforehand he would dance around and allude to Vince. This time he dropped his name. That was an oh shit moment. But they even before he dropped the whole Vince comment, they became face like 2 weeks ago when they broke off from the Gun Club and then they officially like cinched it. So yeah, they claim, but before that, yes. But that's my craziest thing with that shit. And like again, like Ricky Starks, they turned him face because he was getting so many fucking like cheers. It was back and forth. They knew how to get you to boom and shit, but then it would be like, oh shit, he's a fucking like charisma powerhouse. Oh shit, all of a sudden, like should we cheer him? So that made sense.
It took me a while to get Ricky Starks, but I finally did, and then he lost, and I'm like, well.
My only issue.
Let's go Hook.
My only issue with Starks and Hobbs breaking up. And this isn't like an issue at all. I say this in like the most minuscule of minuscule gripes because it's not even a gripe. My only issue was I eventually wanted them to win the tag team titles.
Yeah.
That was all I was like, oh, they gonna get it one day. We gonna have the heel team.
And people want, Team Puerto Rican and Proud to win the titles too, but they don't let them.
Proud and powerful.
Yeah.
Supposedly it's rumored behind the scenes. Now this is rumors. But supposedly it's rumored behind the scenes that Ortiz and Santana had a little bit of a tiff, and there might be some issues with them, like for real behind the scenes. So that sucks.
Yeah.
Because Proud and Powerful needs to win the titles too. Proud and Powerful should have won the titles before Jurassic Express did.
I'll agree.
And that's nothing against Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy winning them because they deserve to win them too. Just like Swerve and Our Glory deserve to win them too. And I love that. But Proud and Powerful should have won them titles. Like, yeah, they should have got them bitches. And if rumors, but if they did have a tiff and there is some shit, then let's hope that doesn't, halt it even more so. I say whoever has these titles at All Out, I don't care who it is, FTR needs to win the titles just because of the way that the story has been going with them winning the belts from every team minus WWE. Whoever got these titles, whether it be the Young Bucks, whether it be Swerve and Our Glory, whether it be Proud and Powerful, whoever got these shits, FTR needs to win them just because that's the way the story's been going.
I hear you.
Because they got the AAA, they got the.
I hear you, but it also
and the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I hear you, and it makes sense for them to do the whole belt collecting thing. Only thing I don't like about it is it would be a very short reign for Swerve and Our Glory or whatever. After they finally got it, they lose it like on their first title defense.
Technically, their first title defense just happened against Nice and that Josh motherfucker. Right?
So their first real title defense.
Not gonna go against that one. not gonna go against you on that.
I've seen Tony Nese in person. Dude's, about as intimidating in person like any professional wrestler would be.
Big as fuck, right?
That said, he ain't no Keith Lee or even, Isaiah Swerve Strickland.
Isaiah Swerve Strickland. Like I said, no, so you're right, yeah. I'll say this much. Like I said, because I feel you, and it's a little bit of like you want this good shit, but you want this good shit. But I just don't think, because I agree with you that Swerve and Our Glory is dope, both singularly and as a team. But them having a short reign would suck. But I just don't think whoever has the titles, it makes sense the way that their year's been going for anyone to walk out all out with the belts besides FTR. So
I hear you too.
Yeah.
But which at that point it's like, why put the title on Swerve and what's his name anyway if you're just gonna make them look like they can't even defend them? It's on some Sasha Banks shit where it's like, hey, congratulations, Sasha, you won like the women's championship like 8 times. How many times have you defended it? 0? Damn, that sucks.
Her what was it? Her and Naomi having the women's title and winning, like successfully went like defending them at what was it? Fucking WrestleMania. That was Sasha's first successful title defense at WrestleMania, at any championship that she had. Mm-hmm. That was her first time walking out of WrestleMania with a title.
Or walking out of anything with the title she had before, if I remember correctly.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, they always give her the belt and have her lose it instantly.
Like, what?
I know she got at least up to 5, and that was the case, because it was a line I think Bayley had against her one time when she's like, I'm a 5-time women's champion. She's like, yeah, and how many times have you defended it? And walked the fuck away. Yeah. It's like, yeah, and at that time it was, so she at least got up to 5, where she never was able to defend it.
I mean, that is crazy in and of itself, that the one title that a woman with the fucking like prestige as a Sasha Banks and the only title that she walked out of WrestleMania with successfully was the women's title, tag title.
That took multiple tries. And that took multiple tries, because when her and Bayley got it and they were trying to make something out of it, they get to WrestleMania and to finally defend it, and then the Iconics take it from them.
Shout out to the Iconics.
Right off the bat, and like, damn. Shout outs to the Iconics. I know we got that video from when they first started where we did not look on them favorably, but by the time either of us had turned around our opinion on them, we weren't still doing wrestling content.
They definitely got much leaps and bounds better over time, and they definitely won me over.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think fucking Cassie Lee and Sean Spears are having a kid now too. So shout out to that.
Good for them.
But yeah, what was I just talking about? Like I say, FTR having a career-defining year, and then we even talked about the fact that you got a team up for Team of the Year with Match of the Year contender matches. And then you have one of them solo up for Wrestler of the Year solo. if that doesn't say, and then they're like doing the belt collector thing with every big company besides WWE, obviously, for obvious reasons. It just doesn't make sense for them to. I look at it like them going against whoever they go against at All Out for the titles. It basically should be in the vein of Undertaker's streak before it finally ended. We went in every WrestleMania that he was having his, streak on the line after they made it a big deal. It went in like, well, we know Taker's gonna win, but then it would get right down to the moment. He'd be like, oh shit, is he? So, like they would do that little thing to make you question. So I think that it should be like, no shit, FTR's gonna win, but they should do that last little pull out, be like,
well, if they do, I guarantee you that's gonna happen.
I get what you're saying.
Wrestling storytelling 101, like you were saying with the Taker thing. You gotta put in that benefit of a doubt.
Like why, like you're saying the whole thing of like, why you put the title on this like dope ass team just for them to clearly have their days numbered. I get that. Shit. We all thought, you want to talk about throwing us for a loop. We all thought that it was going to be FTR versus the Young Bucks again. And then you want to talk about the Young Bucks. Now, granted, this was their second time having the titles. The first team had tag titles twice.
Yeah, we're finally entering the era of repeat champions in AEW.
Right. But we all thought that it was going to be them. And you want to talk about having it for a short reign. Granted, the second reign, but they had that shit for like, a week? So that was surprising.
Yeah.
Dope ass match.
I did not expect them to win that.
Starks and Hobbs still a team. That was a dope ass match. But yeah, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole came back. Bryan Danielson, a week before Cole, of course. But yeah, and Cole's still not cleared to enter AEW with his millions of fucking injuries, dude. Motherfuckers slowly trickling in. This is fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The baddies are still down and baddies, so they have, speaking of interim, they have an interim baddie. Because they're still down a baddie. Who knows when she'll be back.
Right.
Fucking, like we just said, the main champion is gone, so we have an interim champion. Danielson comes back as a dope-ass match versus Garcia, and now they're letting Garcia shine some, which I think is dope. Because the man definitely has the in-ring chops, and I think the mic chops.
Does he?
You don't think he has the mic chops?
Which one's Daniel Garcia? Is he the one that just kind of says
Where's
shit?
The Kango. The one that wears the Kango sometimes.
He the guy that beat Bryan?
The one that, the wrestled Bryan Danielson and just won.
I don't like him. At least as far as the microphone thing goes, I disagree.
He was the one that, if you saw
find it, but I don't see it yet.
He's the one that, if you saw the first forming of the Jericho Appreciation Society about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and he's like, "You're a sports entertainer? Then I am too." He was that one.
Yeah, no, he's the one that beat Bryan. I know which one we're talking about. I don't like him right now. I don't know why. Again, it's not saying he's not a good wrestler. He puts on great matches. Sure. I'm just not as... Like when you said in the ring and on the mic, that's where I'm like, I don't really agree. He just seems like some dude. He don't seem like Daniel Garcia. He didn't have to be extra Spanish or nothing. I just like rolling R's. Because I said Daniel Garcia.
The way you said it, and then you were like, I know how this sounded.
Exactly. No, he doesn't have to be like extra Spanish or nothing, but he's got to have like some. Because I'm not Spanish, and I still roll the R on grande when I say feogrande.
Well, the fact that you included grande.
Well, Big Ugly is too many people call themselves that, and feogrande also just sounds cooler.
What the fuck?
Anyway,
back to what you were saying about Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, I just kind of find him it's some dude. I thought, but then again, like I said, he'll eventually find it if he hasn't already, and he just needs to hone it or whatever. Blah blah blah. I'm just some dude watching. I'm not a writer, whatever. Yeah. But Wheeler Yuta, for instance, is a guy who a few months ago, I'm sitting there watching AEW with my roommate, and we're both like, this Wheeler Yuta guy needs something else.
Nobody was sold on Wheeler Yuta.
We're like, this guy needs something else. Wheeler Yuta, he seems like he could be a cool dude, but he needs something else. He's sitting here with the best friends or whatever, which best friends are cool, but it's just like Wheeler Yuta needs something. And literally the match where we're saying this, fucking William Regal like walks out right after it or some shit. Whatever was that first hint that he joined, the Liverpool Combat Club or whatever. He was like, William Regal comes out like, oh wait, is this it? Are they actually giving him something else? Like right when we go,
right when y'all start talking about
he probably needs something, and they're like, you know what? Y'all are right. Send William Regal out there. We gotta get this guy a career makeover, and they did it. And sure enough, Will Yuta came out and he showed what he could actually be.
Textbook of how you create a star with one match.
Mm-hmm.
He had one match with Jon Moxley and was made in that match.
Yeah.
Like, so yes, no, you're right. I think that Garcia, and not to be like you, Pete, but no, I think that Garcia's on the right track. I'm seeing some shit that's like, okay, I think he's there. If you don't see it, I can see why you don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be like, but I see it.
But yeah, he'll find it. I don't know.
I'm already kind of sold on, and I like that they're highlighting him separately.
Then again, you don't like Eddie Kingston. I don't like Daniel Garcia, so I get it.
It's more blasphemous to not like Eddie Kingston, admittedly. And that's like self-admittedly, like I can definitely like say it is, because I saw that motherfucker Wednesday. And I was just like, I don't know why this dude bores me. Like, and Ibn was like, you can't deny he's not charismatic. I'm like, clearly when he talks, everybody listens and they cheer. So whether I thought he was or wasn't, I'd be stupid and like full of shit to say he's not charismatic.
Exactly. There's like me. I can't deny Adam Cole's.
You would just hang up on why
he's good, and he's a good wrestler, but
I'm not saying right. You just don't get.
I get just it. Arena shattering. Just oh God, baby.
I get it.
I don't know how he got to that level. It's with being an NXT star that when he comes to AEW, all they do is make him lose all his matches. Like, and he's still just, Adam Cole, baby. Clearly, he's got something. He's got it. Again, you'd have to be stupid to say that he doesn't. And I actually kind of like Adam Cole, but I couldn't tell you why, because I don't really have much. It's not like his promo game is the best. I actually don't necessarily like the Who's Ready for Story Time with Adam Cole.
You don't like?
I'll tell you why.
When he returned credit, I was like, I said it with his ass.
I'll tell you why. Because it's not like he's telling any fucking stories. It's the silliest thing ever. The silliest thing ever. And before you go, no one tells a story when they do these kind of things with their promos. The Rock will tell you the entire story of his week leading up to getting into that ring. And he's not Who's Ready for Story Time with The Rock. He's just like, hey guys, he's like, finally The Rock has come back. Or before he says finally The Rock comes back, he's like, this morning The Rock woke up and he had a piece of toast. He took that piece of toast and he put some fucking butter on it. Again, I don't hate Who's Ready. I like it as a catchphrase. But
that's all it is.
But there's no story time about it. If I'm telling you a story, I'm telling you a story.
That's just all it is.
If I tell you, I'm gonna tell you a story. That's all I'm saying. But The Rock's like, he wakes up, he got that toast. He put some butter on it. He looked in the fridge, he couldn't find a jelly. There was no jelly in the fridge. So The Rock, he goes down Natural Bridge Road, goes to the corner of Natural. You know what I mean? He picked some local street to be like, he went to the grocery store. In the grocery store, there was a woman in the front of the line. She said, oh my God, you're The Rock. Are you gonna whoop John Cena's ass tonight? The Rock said, of course The Rock's gonna whoop John Cena's ass, but first he's got to buy some jelly for his toast. So The Rock went home and he put some. He tells a fucking story. You get my point. I know I'm exaggerating, but
I know what you mean. And no, that was honestly a pretty good impression of how The Rock would be promos. But you just a little hung up on it because he said story time, but then he only
yeah, that's not the reason I don't like the person. It's just one of the things where I'm like, where's the story at?
But I'm saying the only quote unquote story that he tells is maybe a sentence
Well,
this morning I woke up and blah blah blah, and then that's it.
And even still, he didn't even tell like a story. He's just like, I'm about to talk, and he says, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole?" And I think, like I said, it threw me off because the very first time I heard it, he had just come back to AEW or to the Indies or whatever. Came back to in front of this crowd, and he's like trying to explain, and they're like, he's gonna explain what happened last week. And so he comes out, who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? You know what? I actually would like to know.
No, shut the fuck up.
I don't know shit about. I'm sorry. We can't all be wrestling experts, Jazz. I didn't know shit about Adam Cole pre NXT, like everybody else. His past history with the Elite in a Ring of Honor and all the shit they did together and all of that stuff. I ain't know nothing about that. I'm thinking he's about to talk about that and be like, "Of course, I would do so and so, so and so." Nah, he just like went on with something completely different. I'm like, where's the story at? I was here for story time with Adam Cole, baby.
You want to talk about...
But again, that's very minor nitpick, and it's not like it ruins the character for me.
You want to talk about holding AEW accountable for stuff to the same level of WWE. That is one thing that I think at times AEW does bad is... So they know a huge majority of their fan base will know what they talk about if they talk about independent wrestling type shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't take the time to explain it per se to those of us who have no idea what the fuck any of this means.
They just assume
that is one thing. Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, a lot of their fucking fan base knows. Like when they fucking come out with motherfuckers where I'm like, who in the hell is this? A lot of the people in the audience are like, oh, shit. Ah! But, I mean, my introduction to Roppongi Vice was not what they were doing on the indie circuit in New Japan.
Right.
My knowledge of Roppongi Vice is what has been happening in AEW. For instance.
I saw this guy coming out with the other half of Roppongi Vice. Because that's Trent and the other dude, right? Oh, there's that Tony Nese and
Trent and Rocky Romero.
Yeah, I saw Rocky Romero, and I'm like, that dude looks like Ramon from KOF. Who apparently that's what Ramon was based off of, and yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so apparently Ramon was based appearance-wise off of Rocky Romero, so that's why he looked similar. So I'm like, okay.
Roppongi Vice. The intro is dope. Roppongi Vice is like some little like trap style type of beat. But I mean, like for instance, like I don't know, like Forbidden Door. A lot of people were saying like, not a lot of people. Some people, you heard people like saying that was what Forbidden Door was plagued with. Was they were introducing motherfuckers and bringing them out without telling you why you should care. Now, granted, okay, I know Will Ospreay is Mr. My match is being talked about like match of the year candidate, match of the year winner, millions of 5 stars and shit. But I don't know too much about him. Will Ospreay runs out, everybody goes crazy. Explain to the people who don't know who Will Ospreay is why they should give a fuck.
Because he's the best wrestler on the planet, or at least one of the 3 people that has like rights to that claim for the reasons you mentioned.
Who are the other 2? I'm gonna challenge you just because you said that. Who are the
Kenny's another person because he's always mentioned in 5-star matches, and somebody else in AEW.
I would have said Danielson, probably.
Probably Danielson, but yeah. But yeah, obviously no one in WWE because the wrestling community and the people that are starring matches just don't give a fuck about WWE regardless.
Most of the time. But no,
like calls their move the Meltzer driver for a reason. The man hates WWE, but conversely, Jim Cornette hates AEW. So there you go.
Cornette, I think Jim Cornette, he gotta be playing that shit up to some extent because he knows like it's a show, and at the end of the day, love him or hate him, and I don't necessarily love him, but love him or hate him, at the end of the day, the man is a showman. The man is a performer through and through. He's playing that shit up. There is no way that he fucking hates everything to the fucking vitriolic extent that he hates that shit. Every time that fucking, you ask this dude, so what do you think about Dynamite? And you ask him, what do you think about Dynamite? that just happened yesterday, Jim. What do I think about it? He comes out. Now listen to me. Listen, he comes out, and I mean, this jackoff's already in the ring, waiting on him with a microphone. Then they hand him one. I mean, the crowd started going crazy, and I was like, are we watching the same product? It's like, Jim, there's a way to tell me this without, bruh, like, calm the fuck down. Jesus Christ. Nah, he's playing. He might really hate AEW. He's playing some of that up. There's no way you are that fucking pissed. And if you are, my man.
I don't know. People thought a while ago that Skip Bayless was playing up his LeBron hate, and here we are years later. That man still hates LeBron.
I think to an extent he is.
That man still hates LeBron.
But again, like Skip Bayless in the same boat, not to the extent of like Cornette, or maybe to the extent, but the way that Skip always goes against everything that is popular is like, dude. And then how he does it. I just don't think that anyone
this is Skip Bayless.
I don't think anyone should be liking so-and-so.
Stephen A. or Shannon, I've told you, LeBron James just isn't clutch. He doesn't have it. 2011, this one final series that I can point to.
Why would you say some shit like
not
that?
Good.
Not like playing up some shit. Come on, right?
Like, I told you it was when the chosen one became the frozen one. Never has there been a literal collapse. Unlike Mike, and then Shannon fires back. Skip. At least he made it to the finals. At least he made it to the finals. I know somebody else that didn't make it to the finals years ago. I got him now. Somebody lost in the first round. Yeah, your boy Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan is the best player ever. Okay, Larry Bird saw him and he's like, I saw God in sneakers. No one ever said that about LeBron. Yes. Like that was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
Like I said, man, they Skip Bayless might really not like LeBron James and how he plays. Not on a personal level, but just his player. Jim Cornette, Skip Bayless, they are playing that up because they know it's a show. There's no way you hate this shit this much to this extent.
Jim Cornette hates Orange Cassidy with a passion. Actually, speaking of weird people that not everybody is gonna get, what do you think about Orange Cassidy?
I love Orange Cassidy. I thought I already said it.
I like Orange Cassidy too.
I love Orange Cassidy because what I love about Orange Cassidy is he's got the whole gimmick of not giving a fuck. But when it comes down to wrestling, you get reminded, oh shit, he really is damn fucking good. Like, yeah. Like, I love it. And then, the whole the fact that he comes out and his billing is from wherever, weighing whatever. Like, I love that. Like, that's dope. Like, the whole not giving a shit. And like, speaking of crazy, funny, like billing stats, what they say for Danhausen, I forget where he's from, but they say claiming to be 6'7" and weighing over 300 pounds. Like, okay, that's just so stupid.
Do you like Danhausen? That's another weirdo.
I love Danhausen.
All right, same. But it was one of those days where it's like, yeah, it's hard to explain. Well, and the main reason I said Orange Cassidy and Danhausen is it's hard to explain to people why you like them if you just see him the first time. Like, you see Orange Cassidy come out, do his little fake kicks, and the crowd lose their shit. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Or Danhausen is like, what the fuck? Why is this a thing? And it's like, but look at him.
Danhausen, it would be what the fuck.
Nice. Very nice.
But going back to what you said about Orange Cassidy, because when I went to an indie show, like I said, with my brother a few months ago, earlier the year, one thing I said to him, and it's so true, is one of the things, when you like wrestling, one of the things that makes wrestling fun to watch for us as fans is because we all agree to buy into it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it good, because you could sit there and be like, this is stupid. Why are they? But what makes the Orange Cassidy kicks, which are dumb as fuck, what makes them so cool is because the crowd collectively buys into the joke. And that's what makes it good. Yeah. So that's how I would try to explain it to somebody. It's like, we agree to buy into this shit. So that's what makes it good on that level. Speaking of people and getting certain cheers or reactions that they like boos, reactions they should or shouldn't get. Have not seen the clip, but I've been hearing everybody talking about it, admittedly. But apparently, a certain women's champion did not get the response that she thought that she was gonna get, and I was surprised to hear about it.
Oh, your girl?
Blue Tongue.
Blue Tongue. Oh,
Who'd
Blue
you think
Tongue.
Who'd you think I was
You
talking
said
about?
Blue Tongue, right?
Yeah, Tongue. T-O-N.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, we talking-
does
so
she
yeah,
still
it's
do
like-
that?
She just did it again, like she brought it back.
Oh, okay, cool. But yes, Liv.
Yeah, like Liv came out and got booed out the building. Apparently, I was surprised when I heard that shit because I didn't see the episode, but I was surprised when I heard that shit.
Right? People been clamoring for her to win the title forever.
I was gonna ask what you thought about it, so there you right. I thought Liv Morgan was over like Rover. I thought people loved them some Liv Morgan. All the shit I was seeing and hearing online where they were like, finally Liv, you worked so hard, go Liv Morgan, love you, can't believe it, I'm so happy you won. And then motherfucker gets booed out the building?
Well, to be fair, it's something heels have talked about for fucking ever. People only like you until you succeed. I think that's the perfect example. Everyone was crazy about Liv Morgan until she won the championship. Now she's won it. They like, get this bitch off my screen.
That's basically how they reacted. They're like, go Liv. You almost got it. Come on, go. She almost won. She won, fuck her. Like, what?
Oh, look at you. I'm Liv Morgan. I get everything handed to me because the crowd likes me. Boo, 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 boo. What the fuck?
I got everything I ever wanted and I ain't gonna give it back like that.
Oh, I know you hate Liv Morgan, but you ain't gotta look at me like that.
and then they were saying that the crowd chanted you tapped out because of the finish.
That's why.
But I just think it's like I said, I think it's crazy because she worked hard and everybody was saying go Liv because everybody knew and everybody said collectively how hard Liv worked, and she finally got it. And she finally got a fucking title that I think she deserved. And then the crowd was like, fuck you, you motherfucker.
Yeah, they hate you till you succeed. Or they love you till you succeed. And now suddenly, you're not one of us anymore. So get out of here.
Stephen Larson say it all the time, depending on certain people. And it is true. Shout out to them. I love their shit. But they say it all the time. Excuse me, because they said it with Hangman before he got the title, because his reign was lackluster to an extent, depending on who you ask, and I agree. But a lot of people, the thrill is in the chase. And when you finally get it, some of the thrill like goes away.
I actually like Hangman's reign because not as much as CM Punk or your Moxleys or Jericho's. If you look at it objectively, I guess he's the worst of the 4 champions AEW has had. Okay. However,
that is, yeah, you could make an argument for that, but go ahead.
However, I would say I actually kind of liked his reign because though it wasn't as long, he fucking almost every other week was defending the damn thing, and then he kept putting on those fucking Texas death matches. So even if
every belt.
Yeah, so if you're just looking at it from an in-universe perspective, this man is putting it all on the line every other week to prove that when he says, I'm into cowboy shit, whatever the hell that means, I guess it means fucking fighting people in a match named after the state you ain't even from. I'm like, oh, cowboy shit, and he goes Texas matches. That makes sense. It's like, he's from Virginia, which there's nothing wrong with Virginian cowboys. It's just, I don't think cowboy when I think Virginia. That's all. It's cool that he is, or that he was doing all that stuff. And even now with his thing where he's joined up with the Young Bucks against Adam Cole. So it's like, yeah, Adam Page, baby.
Well, anyway, but no, man, like I say, I just think I thought that was wild hearing that about Liv, because I was like, didn't everybody love Liv? Like, what happened? Like, what the fuck? So we'll see what they do, because they revamped the Bailey and they made her work, but we know what happened back in the day with her and Alexa Bliss where out of nowhere Bailey was the plucky underdog and then walked out and everybody booed Bailey out the fucking arena. That shit. So it seems like some of that is happening with Liv.
People want their friends to succeed, but when you don't know the person personally, your only idea of friendship when it comes to like these pro wrestlers and stuff is the fact and I'm sounding like a heel my damn self, they're a loser like me. I want them to succeed so we can say we succeeded together.
So what you mean, but that does sound like a heel promo.
And then they succeeded. Oh, you're not a loser anymore? That means you're the fucking enemy. How dare you? This world's about the have and have-nots, and you're a fucking have, so you have to die, nigga. And it's like, damn, what the fuck?
Some people respond like that. As exaggerated as that sounded, some people respond like that. But you did sound like you was giving a heel promo. They were like that's like classic heel promo right there.
And I said it at the start. I'm like, well, heels do technically have a point when they say shit like this, because there's a lot of times they're like, why did I turn? You people. And then they'll bring up fucking example like Christian with his recent thing. He's like, Jungle Boy screwed me over a year ago.
That's the stupidest. I love Christian heel reign right now. That's the stupidest reason.
He's like, and you people cheered when I got eliminated.
Fucking a year and a half ago, Christian, shut the fuck up. That shit is hilarious. You eliminated me in one match. So for over a fucking year, I befriended you just so I could get on your good side and then flip. What?
By the way, your dad's dead, nigga.
And then I'm sad your family ain't dead. And then what else he say? He said,
I'm gonna fuck your mom.
Matt, what do you say? Matt, you making your brother look like the sober one? Like,
oh, yeah, when Matt Hardy comes out, yo, it's not cool to talk about people's family. Oh, like, yo, drunk ass brother? What? Yeah, all the problems that he got, niggas.
Christian, and I don't mean this in a what the fuck, but Christian took he's filling the MJF void of like the heel that, you know, I don't give a fuck about being liked. I'm going to say all this shit that's fucked up. He's filling the MJF void until MJF comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If he comes back, he may just go to WWE.
Yeah, he'll come back. Will he come out All Out? They should bring him back at All Out. But
yeah, he's not going to WWE. That man hates that place.
He's not going to WWE right now, especially. The fuck?
Well, then again, 80% of AEW hates WWE, so...
Facts. Shit, the main wrestler who's not there right now, we know he fucking hates.
Oh, that man. If you thought he wasn't going back when Vince was in charge, he sure as hell ain't going back when Triple H is in charge. That man might go burn down fucking Stanford. Like, oh, hell no, I ain't letting fucking Paul, of all people, run this fucking company.
Oh, man. What do you think about, just as a wrestler, what do you think about Theory?
I think he's a good wrestler. I didn't really like the selfie gimmick when they gave it to him.
Yeah.
I have not watched enough of a WWE.
Admittedly, same.
To give him a fair assessment.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle with Austin Theory. I think they need to give the man his fucking first name back.
That ain't happening.
They need to give the man his fucking first name back. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. But yeah, that may not happen. I mean, usually when you get your name taken, they don't give it back. But sometimes you do.
Well, and we got a different person who's running shit too. So
yeah, sometimes you do get your name back. But generally you have to be like wrestling royalty to get your name back. But because Charlotte, they took away the Flair for a while, which was a stupid decision.
That's you talking about Charlotte, yeah. Well, and they flip-flopped with Apollo. When he was Apollo Crews, then he was Apollo, then now he's Apollo Crews again.
So he got his thing back.
Yeah.
See, there we go. There's a non-wrestling royalty. Then again, he is a Nigerian, like, prince or some shit. So, well, storyline-wise. Storyline wise.
You knew you were full of shit as you were saying that.
Storyline wise.
I
What
know
is
what
his
you mean.
is he not supposed to be like Nigerian royalty or some shit with his thing?
I'm not-
Because he's got
I'm
his
not talking
Commander
about-
Aziz and all this shit.
I'm not talking about kayfabe. I'm talking about wrestling royalty. Where he was.
Well,
connection.
obviously he's not literally Nigerian royalty. I'm not even sure if he's actually from Nigeria.
I think he really did have Nigerian ancestry.
Yeah, it's like Nigerian like ancestry or whatever, but I'm pretty sure his accent is not the most authentic.
No, well, it sounded realistic enough, but that was a while ago. But he sounded realistic enough. He just randomly started doing it though.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's all I'm saying. Yeah, he just
my natural dialect. It's just like I could fuck with this, but where'd this come from? Like, like Kofi Kingston, where'd your accent go? This is where'd your accent come from? Like,
I like how that was partially his decision too, Kofi, to get rid of the accent.
That was one of the best things I think Kofi ever did going forward. Was if that wasn't your real like voice
Or heritage. Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of that. Because that way we can unless that was his real lineage and he really talked like that, get rid of it, because then we can associate you more so with your real self and less with a character.
And that's pretty much what the New Day did for all of them.
Yes, and so that's why him like Kofi way before New Day, and then of course in New Day, Kofi dropping the accent and the whole Jamaican gimmick was the smartest thing I think he could have done for his career. The gimmick got him far enough, and then it's like, okay, now be the real Kofi.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like fucking Hunter Hearst Helmsley, like that. But that was fucking stupid. Jean-Paul Levesque. Get rid of that shit. Speaking of like, if you don't really talk like that, that ain't your real lineage. Get rid of that bullshit. But that was back in the day where everybody had dumbass gimmicks.
Yeah.
I'm a hockey player.
Lagoon.
I'm a dentist. Well, I'm a fucking IRS businessman. Get your dumb ass on. That was some stupid shit. I'm a clown. Sit your whole fucking...
It's like, well, why are you here pro wrestling? Don't worry about it.
It's like, what are you? I'm a gimp. What?
What are you? I'm a zombie wizard. What? That's well, we'll see you out of here in like a year or two. I heard in WCW they told you no one would ever pay to see you wrestle. Ha, I agree, zombie wizard.
Right, not the same company, but I'm the Crow's protagonist. Like what? So yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the trios titles that they are going to have on the line and bringing in? They were rumored forever. Now they're finally coming.
When I was a kid, I used to take toys.
Story time with Mario.
Who's ready with story time with feogrande, baby? So when I was a kid, I used to play with toys, and I used to book my own wrestling shows. Mm-hmm. If you remember TWF, the Toy Wrestling Federation. And actually, as someone who knew me back then, you know for a fact when I say that I would actually write out storylines.
You really did?
Yeah, I had them on a computer. I would keep track of the wins and losses.
I remember you doing all that.
So that the winners made sense. Like even though there's no footage, I never recorded a single fucking episode.
You used to do it like sometimes for you, but also when
you guys would come over, I'm like, hey, it's time for like Thursday Night Takedown, or
I used to think it was so cool. You remember and I was younger too, so it was probably a little bit of looking up maybe, but. Remember, I used to do AFWF. Which is the
AFWF. Yeah, we had our own invasion storyline at one point.
Yeah.
I also had, ETW that came in here. Extreme Toy Wrestling. Anyway, one of the titles...
He's not making this up for y'all who don't know.
No, I'm not. One of the titles in that company... One of the titles in that promotion was... the 8-person tag team championships. So 4v4. Well, if you remember the Saiyans or the Spider-Man, I believe, they had the title for a long fucking time because I took an undefeated wrestler I lost. Like I lost the action figure for him, and I had just gotten a new action figure, and so I'm just like, this is just gonna be that guy with a gimmick change. He's calling himself this. He just like, nah, I'm a Spider-Man now instead of like a Robin or whatever. And he was undefeated for a while. Then it became like the tag team. They won the. I should have called it like the stable championship or just did 3v3s. But I had like 4 Spider-Man action figures, so they were just dominating and still undefeated for a while. Then the Super Saiyans, because once I started getting more into Dragon Ball Z and had like Dragon Ball Z action figures, like your Vegetas, your Gogetas, and etc. They had a rivalry between the two of them, where at the end of it, the Saiyans eventually and them decide, fuck it, we both are godlike, let's team up. And they still ran the 8-tag division for a long time. But the bottom line is, tag team titles for teams that have more than 2 people is something I've always been okay with.
Okay.
And with AEW being the faction heavy company that it is,
and they do a good job with the tag teams and the factions. So yeah.
Well, and I can't think of anybody in that company that's not at least affiliated with somebody's team or faction.
Yeah.
Like it's a very faction-based company.
Even the Lone Wolf John Moxley is now part of a team.
Yeah, he's part of like Blackpool Combat Club.
What the fuck was this? Did you have a stroke?
It's a weird name, okay? He's part of the Blackpool Combat Club. And hell, and Cesaro's like, hey, I'm showing up and I gotta immediately join something I'm throwing in my life with this. Whenever anybody comes in, they immediately join some kind of faction or at least team up with some other random person.
The only one who's not affiliated with some team is the one who's not there right now, the champion who's not there.
CM Punk?
Yeah. Because even MJF had the Pinnacle for a second. The Pinnacle disbanded because everybody said fuck MJF, but he even had the Pinnacle. Even Kenny Omega's part of the Elite. So yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, Kenny Omega's part of the Elite. I feel like, yeah, I don't think Punk's teamed up with anybody really, because he hates everybody, or at least a lot of the people hate him, like your Eddie Kingstons or your other people.
Even
Eddie Kingston hates everybody except for the other people, like his other, he likes the Puerto Rican group. He likes John Moxley.
That's what I would say. Even Eddie Kingston associated himself with Santana Ortiz recently. Mm-hmm. Shit, Ruby Soho started aligning herself with them. Shit, like Anna J joined and became Anna JAS. Like fucking Sammy and Ty.
And before that, wasn't she Dark Order?
Before that, she was Dark Order. For a hot second, people don't remember this, when Athena debuted and they had Statlander, Athena, and Anna J for like a week or two. People don't remember that, but that happened too for a hot second.
Yeah, and then they're just like, nah,
you got Cargill and the Baddies. You got best friends with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy's not part of the best friends, but he'll always come out with the best friends.
Yeah, it's like, so everybody is associated with some team, and if you really think about it, shit, even Hangman is like finding his way back to the Dark Order and or the Elite. Like,
yeah, even him, like, I'm cowboy shit. But he started as part of the Elite. Then he was, like, just being drunk, and then the Dark Order tried to pull him out of his drunkenness.
Yeah, they brought him in on some, like, brother shit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's just kind of been loosely associated with Dark Order for, like, the past year.
It's like, if we go down the whole fucking roster, like, shit, everybody, like, even Christian, until he just went heel now, he was associated with Jurassic Express.
Mm-hmm.
So
so it's very faction based, this company. Yeah. So I kind of figured the 8-tag championships would be perfect for this, because there's just a whole bunch of factions, or at the very least like a 3v3 title. So when they announced it, I wasn't too surprised. I was more surprised that, oh my god, some kind of version of what I thought about back in the day is happening. But then again, you know, while I didn't think of it for a wrestling character, I will say early college, when I wasn't watching wrestling, when I started finding myself as an individual and finding stuff that can make people laugh. I found calling myself awesome all the time and just saying Omari is awesome. It just made people like me more and agree. And then shortly afterwards, some, douchebag off of Real World starts saying, oh, because I'm me and I'm awesome. I'm like, that'll never catch on. They're going to steal my catchphrase. Ha 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 ha. And here we are years later, and he's far better as a wrestler than I would have been, but still, nonetheless, that was right. Or making it. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of things. Bottom line is, I'm okay with it. I like it. I went on too much of a story time.
It wasn't bad.
I'm just saying, I went on a little bit. I started tangentizing, so I had to come back in.
Like that tangentizing. I'll put it like this with my thoughts on it. Ultimately, will AEW do a good job with it? I believe they will. Pretty much off of what you said. They do the group thing amazingly. The tag team, the faction, all that. Because none of the tag teams or groups feel forced. The only tag team right now in AEW that feels forced, and I mean, this is out of their whole tenure of being around so far. The only tag team that feels thrown together is Thunderstorm. Other than that,
which is some other shit my roommate Mike when he saw them put the team together and called them Thunderstorm. He's like, that is some shit you'd have done with your Mugen teams. Because I would do team. There's a game out there called Mugen. It's kind of like a create your own fighting game thing where you can just take sprites and characters from all kinds of things and put it together. Bottom line is, there was a few years ago, where on my Twitch channel I would weekly have like another league of things where I would like have the AI fight each other, keep tracks of win and losses, try to have a champion every year. No storylines involved. I mean, it's just fighting game still, but. There a lot of the teams that I would come up with were literal. What do I do with this? Oh, this person has this name. This person has that name. Oh, I have a Thunder Rosa and a Tony Storm. Thunderstorm.
That's the only team. Because WWE would throw people in the teams a lot. Them shits felt thrown together. Sasha and Naomi felt thrown together. But the only team in AEW that feels thrown together right now, male, female, whatever, is Thunderstorm. And I do joke sometimes that like Thunderstorm sounds better than Tony Rosa.
Yeah,
but that's
Tony Rosa sounds like a baseball coach.
I think. Well, yeah, okay. I think Tony Rosa sounds like somebody in like a classic gangster movie.
Also true.
Gotta watch out for Tony Rosa. He'll get you.
And Tony Rosa. Send him over to Tony Rosa's house. Tony Rosa and Luca Brasi will show him what's what.
Pretty much. But no, my whole thing is, are they gonna do a good job with it? Most fucking likely. I do not see them failing because their tenure and their track record with group shit. Is it gonna be great? I very much think it will. My only thing is, I think that it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to have them because we've already got tag titles. We've got women main and TBS. We've got TNT. We've got AEW, and we've got All Atlantic. We don't really need another belt. So that was my only thing with that. It's like you don't need because and if you got the tag
titles. I'm fine with the 6 and then a possibly 7th with this trios. However, they also have like every fucking Ring of Honor championship being defended on their shows too, and that's that's too much.
Exactly.
So I'll agree.
Even if they didn't defend the Ring of Honor stuff as prominently as they do, and in other promotion shit for that matter too. If it was just AEW, I would be like 6 is enough. We've got main women's, secondary women's, main men's, secondary men's, tag team, and then we got this All Atlantic, which is somewhat like I guess European shit.
Tertiary men's.
Yeah, okay. We don't need to have a tag team for 2 and then a team for 3. Do I ultimately hate it? No, I don't. But my first thought was it seems a little superfluous. That was my first thoughts when I heard about it and saw it.
I feel like the All Atlantic thing is like a tertiary men's title, and also a title for that elephant graveyard side of AEW.
We don't go there, son.
Yes, and you can't tell me you don't see the difference in like.
You said it before.
The factions and the sections of AEW. Because for every Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, you go right over here, and then you got fucking promos where they're just like literally not talking. None of these motherfuckers give a shit about winning a belt. They just care about hurting each other and being terrifying. Because that's all they talk about each week. It's just, I'm gonna fucking kill you, and you're going to be dead. Everyone will look at your fucking gravestone, and they will cry and wonder, how couldn't he have lived longer? And that's because you fucked with me, nigga. And then the next person's just like...
All from the shadows and shit.
Yeah, they always come from the shadows, whether it's House of Black. If it's just one faction, sure, but it's not. It's House of Black, and then you see the fucking entrances, because they all decide to turn off the fucking lights for their entrances and shit, so you never know. Like, WWE, lights go off, it's like one of, like, 2 or 3 people before that comes on. AEW, it could be anybody, and then you just see, like, somebody terrifying's coming on, and then sure enough, just... Like, there are times where like, oh, it's gonna be a House of Black thing, and all of a sudden, oh, nope, there's the gravestone. Zero, audio, error. Oh, God, no.
Fucking shit.
Oh, God, no, Penta Oscuro.
What was I gonna say? Speaking of that, I love Alex Abrahantes. I love that dude. That dude, he looks like he's having the most fucking fun. He is just like, and I mean this in the best way possible, but that motherfucker's so fucking nerdy, but don't give a fuck. He's like the dude that's like the non-wrestler like manager guy that Penta said. That dude.
Gotcha.
He's like I said, I mean this in the best way possible, but he's like kind of nerdy, but don't give a fuck. And you see this, I'm like, this motherfucker is having so much fucking fun. I love that dude. Like when he came out there one time with that fucking cloak, and he was like, Penta's gonna blah blah. I was like, look at this fucking corny shit. I loved it. So anyway, but that's my thoughts on the Trios title. And another thing with the Trios title too is if you think of it Trios wise, there's not a lot of strictly 3-person teams that can necessarily fight for these titles. We've got Cassidy Best Friends, Hangman, and let's say Bucks. Adam Cole's not clear, but Adam Cole with Red Dragon for Undisputed Elite. You got what? Garcia and 2.0 with them. But it's like trios wise, it's not a whole like they can make them, and I trust AEW to definitely make it work. But tag team wise,
House of Black 3 people.
House of Black, Lucha Bros,
Death Triangle.
That's what I meant. Yeah, House of Black, Death Triangle. So that's like maybe
if
6.
they care. If they're not, if they want to take a break from killing each other to go win a different belt, they can.
They might have to care for them to round it out and not, because the thing is, I don't want to see a thrown together team, and I trust AEW not to do that, obviously. But that's how I look at it. Is like trios wise, they got way more tag teams within their factions. They got way more as like straight tag teams than they do trios. So that's another thing I thought about with it too, to have like actual competitors for said title. But yeah, we are a month removed from All Out. Not removed, a month away from All Out, not removed. We're like a month removed from SummerSlam, a month away from All Out.
Like a week removed from SummerSlam.
Didn't SummerSlam happen like earlier this month? Like a few months ago?
Happened last week.
Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? A month is bad, but 2 weeks ago at least, right?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was last week.
Okay, well, we're not a month. You're right. We're not a month. We're a month away from All Out and about a week or so from SummerSlam. This is facts. But so far, the only thing announced for All Out is the Trios championship. So, well, before we do that, Clash at the Castle. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. The matches that are announced.
2 weeks.
I thought it was at least 2. Clash of the Castle is going to be September 3rd, which is around the same time as All Out, actually. So yeah, I think that's like the day before All Out. I think All Out is the 4th. Let me check and make sure really quick. Yeah, All Out is the 4th. So they're having their pay-per-view right before All Out. Yeah, there's no competition between these two. Anyway, okay, so Clash of the Castle, the matches that have been announced, we've got Roman Reigns is putting up the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Drew McIntyre. Who you got? It's a little obvious.
Yeah, I mean, Roman.
Right. Now, might be a little bit harder to call, especially off of the response we said that old girl got, but Miss Morgan is defending her SmackDown Women's against Shayna Baszler. There's a case to be made for both of them to win that. There's a case to be made for both of them to win that.
Triple H loves him some Shayna, though.
Facts. Vince is the one that, you know, everybody like said loves blondes. So the thing is, though, they both put in their time and put in that work to that. Like, there's a case to make both of them.
They have, but Shayna,
quote unquote workhorses. Shayna's more of a workhorse.
Shayna was kind of on some Asuka shit. Not quite literally on some Asuka shit. Nobody's been on Asuka shit. Where NXT, she literally, we're taking the fucking belt off of you because no one can beat you. Congrats. Go to the main roster, please, so we can have a women's division. Like, no one did that. No one's gonna do that.
And Asuka's like first main match when she joined the main roster, she like her streak got shattered. Yeah.
By Charlotte, if I remember correctly.
By Charlotte, but still.
Who is blonde. And someone that Vince likes. So that doesn't go. Bottom line is, I could see Shayna taking it. Especially if, but then again, if crowd, it all depends. Because with Vince, I'd be a lot more easy to save this stuff.
Straight up, no shit.
Because Vince's whole business philosophy is pissing people off.
And Vince's whole thing is, you like what I like, god damn it.
And if you don't, that I like it even more.
Yeah,
I mean, look at them. Look at them. They're so mad. Look at that kid. They're crying. His hero's dead. While AEW tries to make people happy. But I'm not sure how much Triple H likes pissing people off. He was a heel more than he was a face. But he also is trying to compete with another company right now.
He was a heel more than he was a face, but he was also, when he was doing that because he understood what role to play and not, I just want to make you mad for make you mad sake. Sometimes, not always. Because the Golden Shovel era, you know, what they call the reign of terror. Man. But throughout his tenure, I would say more that was, I'm a bad guy because I know what role to play for the betterment of the company. Well, most of the time. Most of the time.
What's best for business, if you will. I'll say Liv.
I was gonna say Liv. I think Liv is gonna get there.
Unless Triple H actually is starting to make changes around here. But I'll say Liv.
I just say, the main reason I say Liv is because she just won the title.
And?
Let her keep that motherfucker for a month, goddammit, at least.
How much does WWE care about that title? And making it look strong. They love flipping titles back and forth between people. We just talked about Sasha Banks.
If your name isn't, if you want to talk about how much do they care about the women's titles, if your name isn't Charlotte, on to a lesser extent Becky, if your name isn't Charlotte, Ronda, to a lesser extent Becky.
No,
and
I'm not letting you say to a lesser extent Becky. And then Becky's right up there with them too.
Okay, well, Charlotte,
she beat
Ronda,
the two of them at WrestleMania.
Charlotte, Ronda, Becky, and like Alexa Bliss are like the main women that they really care about looking strong with the women's titles. Other than that, But Liv deserves it, man. And I know I'm talking about a company that don't necessarily care about who deserves, even though they're going through a transitional period. But if we're basing it not off the transitional time and just, but she deserves it. And I know that, but let her keep it for more than a month. That's all I'm saying. She just won this bitch.
I'm with you.
So I'm saying that she just won this bitch.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It wasn't the best crowd reaction. That's the thing that I think makes the best argument, is it wasn't the best crowd reaction.
Also true.
So I'll give that. Who is going to win the trios title? Just obviously, like, we're a month away to speculate. But who's going to win the trios title? Just speculative.
Adam Page, baby.
Adam Page and the Bucks?
Yeah. Because they run the company.
I'm laughing because it's like, yeah, like, I'm not laughing because that's what you, no, like, that's a good point.
They show as hell made sure they were the first 2-time tag champs.
The second reign wasn't shit, though.
They show as hell made sure they were the first 2-time tag champs and the only.
Yeah. Although FTR is most likely going to win and be.
Oh, yeah.
And have,
just
like, they're not going to be the first, but they're probably going to have a better reign, though.
Yeah.
I would say.
Because I don't know what other teams are in there.
Well, they haven't announced, like, they're having a tournament, but they haven't announced, like, the teams yet. But like I said, if you think of, we're just spitballing this up. But if you think of, like I said, Paige and the Elites, if you think of, and the Bucks, I mean, if you think of, Adam Cole's not cleared to wrestle, so that's not going to happen. But if you think of Cassidy and Best Friends, if you think of Death Triangle, House of Black, 2.0 with Garcia, or any form of JAS for that matter.
Fuck the Hybrid 2.0.
Shit, I would have said like something with the AFO, but I don't. Yeah. But I mean, so yeah, I would say that they're building up. They're really starting to like remind you. Orange Cassidy's affiliated with Best Friends, guys. Don't forget this. So that could be something. But I would also say Malachi usually tends to be occupied with other means. But House of Black, why not?
Okay.
House of Black gets it. They're one of the main trios that's been going for a second.
Soon to be Quadros.
Who's gonna be the fourth?
He'd spit the mist in the man's face. And so far, that means you go to, like, if you don't turn off to, like, Ultra Murder, you just fucking join him.
Who's he's been in his
Miro.
face? Oh, I forgot. Yeah, okay. You think Miro don't need to join no damn House of Black?
He don't need to. But
that would be crazy.
I'm just going off of the record of what that mist has done to people so far. Now, he could go full Penta Oscuro and just start digging graves for himself and just like...
That's what I was going to say. What language
or Pac and start going fucking crazy like, oh, I'm on my Kenshi shit, nigga. And it's like, what the hell?
What language do they speak in Bulgaria? He going to come out as Miro, whatever the Bulgarian word for dark is. Bulgarian word for dark is. Miro, whatever, yeah. What language do they speak in Bulgaria? Bulgarian? Is that a language?
Sure. Either that or Russian.
I was assuming Russian.
I would say but I only assume Russian because of fucking the WWE run with Lana. Which, at the end of the day, WWE is not necessarily to be looked at for correct assessments of what a country's supposed to act like.
Oh, very, very, very much.
So, I'll say Bulgarian.
I love being from insert country that's not America here. America's cool, but I just love being from here.
Or real storyline. I'm from America. I love America. I happen to be of Muslim descent.
Well, they
They leaned into it.
They were very much cashing in on Islamophobia with that. So
yeah, but I'm just saying it is something that happened.
That is something that very much did happen. Real quick before we finally close out, Becky Lynch finally officially faced.
Is she?
That's what I heard. Is she? I thought she was. I guess I'm wrong then. We don't have to go down there.
I don't know. I'm not refuting your statement. I'm asking. I had not heard such a thing.
I had heard she was.
Oh, okay.
Again, I don't.
Well, maybe that's the other reason they started booing Liv. They're like, oh, yeah, they finally gave us Becky back.
I just think that some people are career heels, some people are career faces, and Becky Lynch is one of the people that's a career face. Don't nobody want to boo Becky for that long. Big Time Bex worked for what it was, and she did definitely get booed a lot, and she was good at it. But it's like RK Bro was working out. We're cheering Randy and we're cheering, Riddle. But Randy's such a better just prick ass fuck you bad guy. And Becky is such a better like fucking arrogant but digestibly arrogant face. Like these people are like, they're just good at this shit. So Becky needs to be a face. As we always close this out, who is the next TBS champion?
The next, or who's TBS champion when we do this next recording?
However you want to play it.
I don't even know who I said the last time.
Every time it could be somebody different. We just do this for just shits and giggles.
Well, I don't remember who I said the last time, so I'm just going to go with who I think is still going to be champion when we record this next, and that's Jade Cargill.
I agree. But I also say that the next women's champion is, if Thunder Rosa doesn't have it, Jade gonna get that motherfucker.
That needs to happen.
Eventually.
I agree.
And they kind of took away some of the presence behind Toni to an extent. Like they took away some of her ranking, so to speak, or whatever, by putting her in Thunderstorm, because I would have said she would have been next, but now she's in Thunderstorm, so it's just kind of like you got a little bit. So
now she could always just give her the old
turn on her. Man,
give her the old Hobbs.
Hobbs did he?
Right to the back of the motherfucker's head, just yeah. And she could always give her the old Hobbs.
Give her the old Hobbs. That's what we go call it now. Give her the old Hobbs. We need to make that a thing. Gave her the old Hobbs. Like when I was there live and Christian gave Jungle Boy the old Hobbs.
Yeah.
When he gave him
right to the back of the head. Yeah.
Give him the old Hobbs. That's the thing now. Okay.
Oh, when a black man does it, you start defining betrayal by his name.
Okay, give it the old Christian. Is that better?
There we go. Yes.
Fuck you.
Let's
Fuck
attack,
you.
Let's attack Christianity. Yes, let's do. And that's why it's hard to make internet content these days, because anything can be skewed. I like calling it the old Hobbs just because Hobbs sounds catchy. Give it the old Hobbs.
Give her the old Cage. Is that better?
Well, who else in Cage? Nobody.
Well, no, you trying to put women in cages? Like, dude, that.
Hobbs it is. So she can always give her the old Hobbs.
Look at your face when I said this shit. Oh shit. Okay, no. Hopefully when Toni Storm turns on Thunder Rosa, that would be good, because one, it would be like an oh shit moment, as well as they'll be killing this unnecessary team.
Yeah.
Just put a bullet in this team's face. Not literally the women's face, it's the figurative team.
Yeah.
But yeah. The next person who needs to win the title, whether it is by the time we record next or just period, the next person needs to win the women's title is Jade. Jade needs to win the women's title next. It needs to happen. Whether she has a TBS championship when she does it or not, Having both titles would be cool. The problem is having both titles in a year where FTR is doing what they're doing might look a little bit too similar. But having both titles when she does it would be dope. But either way, the next person to have these title, the women's title, needs to be Jade. That needs to happen. Next person to have the TBS. Now, when we record this next, I think it's going to be Jade. Next person who I think is going to get it should be Athena. If not Athena, Chris Statlander.
Have they let Athena win anything? Have they let Athena win anything since she's shown up?
I feel like she's been absent for like 2 weeks now anyway, but she's won like a match or two, maybe.
Oh, okay, because I've seen her feuding with her, and it's just seemed like it's still the Jade show. That's the only reason I didn't say her.
It is. Yeah. And then with all the fanfare that Athena got when she came, she kind of got pushed below Chris Statlander, it looked like.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Who should be the next to win the tag titles?
Oh, you just said FTR. I kind of agree.
I don't think this year needs to end with FTR not having them titles. And I think that All Out is the time to do it. It just to build this up with them having this belt collector year, like storyline, whatever, and then not have them win the main AEW titles would seem like such a what the fuck are you doing moment, I think. Next Mid-Atlantic Championship. By the time we record this next, Pac will still have it. But the next one, who's foreign that I could think to get it? Miro?
Yeah, if Miro just says, I don't give a shit about what the House of Black's doing, I want that fucking belt, I can see Miro going for it.
They're putting it on like they're putting it on people who are obviously like foreigners. So, next person to get the TNT, they need to let Wardlow keep it for a second because he ain't done nothing with it since he won the bitch. Like he's just come out and have it. Like, but he ain't really done shit with it. He hasn't even debuted his custom. You know, they always have a custom TNT championship like thing to the person. He ain't even told us what that is. It's just a regular belt. When I watched it this Wednesday that passed, I looked and I was like, did I miss something? Did he change it and I missed it? And I went back and it's the regular TNT title. He hasn't done nothing to it yet. So the next person to get it, Starks. But by the time we record next, Wardlow should still have it.
MJF. If they don't just put him in the main title picture. And I say this because MJF, the whole reason, he's part of the reason he's upset is CM Punk. So it could also just be MJF comes back and goes after Punk for the main championship since he hates WWE's former superstars.
Right.
But it could also be Wardlow because Wardlow helped blow up all his shit.
And they have the whole history with them. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't be bad, and they might bring some more like prestige to the TNT title.
I can see Starks if they want to push him that way.
I think the next person that I could think of that makes sense to get it right now will be Starks. Besides Wardlow keeping it for a second.
Because Wardlow's probably gonna keep it for a minute, and he should.
Yeah, he needs to. I don't think MJF, especially after he comes back, I don't think MJF needs to go for any title. If he goes for a title at all.
He's yet to have one.
But what I was going to say is, if he goes for a title at all, I don't think he needs to go for any title except the main one.
Well, that's why I'm like, maybe they'll put him after the main one, but at the same time, they haven't given the man anything yet. So if Wardlow's still the champ when he gets back, I could see him going for Wardlow because fuck a nigga named Wardlow. But if Wardlow's not the champ whenever he comes back, then yeah, I could see him going for main title because fuck a nigga named CM Punk.
Honestly, he got history with both of the men singles title holders that he could do something with either one. But even more so Punk, although they had possibly feud of the year though, but still. Or was that last year? Was that last year? That was last year. Was that last year? No, that was this year. I'm tripping. That was this year. fucking days running by like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyway, who needs to be the next main title holder? Moxley needs to keep it. Hopefully Punk can come back in time so that they can have something all out. It's not supposedly it's not looking good that Punk will be cleared by all out time for that to actually happen. So that sucks. But that is obviously what would need to happen. Let Moxley keep it. And then get Moxley and Punk. Do you understand? Do you understand the amount of blood that would be in a championship, a champion versus interim champion match at a big pay-per-view with Jon Moxley and CM Punk? Two people who bleed too much anyway. These motherfuckers bleed if it's like a 5-minute match. Moxley's like, I had to blade first.
Yeah, I saw someone with like a picture of Ric Flair from back in the day with the fucking crimson mask on, and it's like Jon Moxley after a headlock.
So do you understand the amount of blood CM Punk and Jon Moxley in a champion versus interim champion at a big pay-per-view? Them motherfuckers would look like Kane, old school Kane by the end of that shit. All that red ass fucking, there'd be so much blood in that damn match. So I mean, obviously that's what I would want to happen. The next person besides CM Punk or Jon Moxley that I could probably say by this time is people who aren't there. I would either say MJF for the first time returning, or Kenny Omega coming back.
Or on this, what seems like a fucking farewell tour that he's doing, to me at least. It may not be because he hasn't really started slowing down at all. Could be Jericho. And the reason I'm saying this is because they keep having these things where someone's like, let me get a flashback to a walk down the line in memory lane of Jericho. I want the Painmaker. I want the Lionheart.
Yeah,
Lionheart. This. Someone's like, I don't want, next person's going to be like, I don't want the Painmaker. I don't want the Lionheart. I want Y2J. I want the Ayatollah of rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this a farewell tour for Chris Jericho?
I didn't think of it like that. I just thought that it was like, I mean, when you think of the master of reinvention, you think of Jericho's. I thought this is their way of this.
But it's like a way of playing them out is by pointing these things out.
I thought this was just their way of reminding us. Oh no! Remember how good he is, goddammit! But no, you're saying, which is a fair point. They're reminding us how good he is because he's leaving, and they want him to leave on a high note. That's the point.
Do we really need to have them tell us to remind us of how good he is? He's in a stable literally called the Jericho Appreciation Society, and they even tell you to, what is it? They tell the AEW Galaxy to recognize them, appreciate them. Thank you. No, they tell you to appreciate how good he is already.
But I didn't think about it like I didn't think it like it was a farewell tour. But I mean that's a fair assessment. Here it is.
It may not be, but I just started to get a hint of that. I was like, why are we just going down the wheel of Jericho gimmicks? You know what I mean? Just try to remind people like, hey, let's play the hits on the way out.
And then when he says like, now I know Punk might be gone, but I want to fight the man who used to say he was the best in the world at what he did. And he comes out in his suit that he did back in 2008.
Yeah, just shit like that.
Oh, shit. I ain't thinking about it like that. Come back in the light-up jacket. What happened to the code breaker? The man who said he was going to save us, and he wears light-up jackets. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know, man. Jericho Appreciation Society, real quick, because I know we're going to close. We were done. But I was going to say real quick. I love the Jericho Appreciation Society. I'm starting to somewhat, maybe I'm the only one, I don't know. I'm starting to somewhat get to a point, not tired of it, but get to a point where I'm like, yo, is it starting to be the stable where we're like, we don't know what to do with a lot of these up-and-coming wrestlers to get them over that hump. So let's throw everybody in this bitch. Because it was Hager, Garcia 2.0. Then they let Sammy go away. That didn't work. So they put Sammy and Ty in the motherfucker. Now they added Anna Jay. I'm like, all the like secondary kind of up and comer like upstarts. We don't know what to do.
Well,
be with Jericho.
With Sammy, I feel like they did have a clear plan to let's have Sammy break away and go on his face run. But then he decided to be like, he decided to let the real Sammy seep through and be like, I'm fucking this, foreign chick, Brazilian chick. We hate you because you're more successful than us. And so he was a heel. And they're like, well, if he's a heel, we might as well just put him back with Jericho. What was the point of breaking him up off of Jericho?
No, I'm just saying.
Because he can't be a face like this.
The fact that Hager never left, which made sense, because with the Inner Circle, out of the other people with Sammy, Santana, Ortiz, the main people who the rub didn't really work for yet and they needed more time with was Hager. Okay, cool. Garcia and 2.0, the three of them were doing their thing, but only up to a point. So teaming them with Jericho, it made sense. Then Sammy went away, but it didn't really work out. So like you said, they put him back with Ty Conti this time. Then
they're getting married, so. Huh? I mean, they're getting married, so.
But I'm just saying. And then they didn't really know what to do because, like I said, they had Anna Jade doing her shit with the Dark Order for, like I said, 2 weeks that nobody really remembers. She was aligned with Statlander and Athena. And now it's like, so I'm like, y'all don't know what to do with a lot of these kind of up-and-comer, like, the younger up-and-comer stars. So y'all say, well, let's just align with Jericho for a second. That's what it feels like a little bit. Do I hate it? No. But it somewhat feels like that. That's what I mean.
Or Jericho's just like, I want to lift these guys up.
Facts. If you listen to him breaking down on his podcast when he was talking about the Inner Circle and the original JAS, he said that he had both ideas for those because he wanted to help young guys out. So yeah. It's just, that's why I say, again, am I hating on it by any means? No. Do I hate it by any means? No. It's just starting to somewhat feel like that. I'm like after after it's been a second and then they're not really sure what to do, so they go ahead and they throw Dante Martin in there. Like, okay.
Yeah. They can't let him team up with his partner. His partner keeps getting injured.
Yeah, Darius keeps getting injured. That's sad. Anyway, we gonna close it out. So, as always, y'all, anything that we talk about, don't take too serious. Just have fun. I don't think we said anything that's too controversial, inflammatory, or nothing like that. But at the end of every episode, this is just two friends who've been lifelong friends, and they just doing what wrestling fans do best, which is talk a lot about shit that we don't know about and giving our opinions on things that nobody necessarily asked for. So if y'all want to join in on this conversation with us on this, just comment below, join in. Let's have a good time. As usual, don't take nothing too serious, and we keep it pushing in the feel of having fun, as it were. All that being said, if you would like to follow your boy, yours truly, on his personal socials, then first off, I'm a rapper. I'm an MC from time to time. So if you would like to, you can go ahead. Anywhere you stream music, you can look up my debut solo album that I dropped last year, My Secret Identity. I go by the name of Superjaz, which is spelled Superjaz. The album, My Secret Identity. You might have to put in Superjaz, My Secret Identity, since I'm not so famous yet. Also, if you would like to, you can follow me on Twitter under the handle Superjaz2. So that would be Superjaz number 2. And of course, you can look me up and follow me on Instagram under the name Forever Superjaz, the word forever spelled correctly. Where can they find you, man?
Well, you can find me here every week, every Wednesday, and every first Sunday on this channel. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube under feogrande, that is Feo Grande. I also have a Twitter and a Twitch at Giotavi, that is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Yeah, nice and simple.
And like he said, check out his channel because he does every Tuesdays movie reviews with another good friend of ours, Bill Smith. This guy hasn't seen. Go check it out. It's a fun time. All that being said, man, First Sunday, another one down. See y'all in about 30 days.
Yes, sir.
Peace. Be nice to yourself, everybody.
Adiosness.
I think that'll be the next. I think that might be my catchphrase for this one. My little sign off. See y'all in about 30 days.
Fair.
Kind of like that.